That's amazing.
Okay, we're ready.
Okay,
Let's go.
Shorty.
Okay.
So, Laura, here we were,
Just
shooting a commercial for
Shooting
you,
a commercial
and this gentleman comes in to buy something.
because all the best and most interesting people on Nantucket shop at Cowboys.
We're going to find out about Phil here.
Find out about
But,
Phil, but
but-
I need to run in because it's almost lunchtime.
Okay, Laura, thanks for introducing us.
Thanks, Gino.
Okay.
Good luck,
Truly
Phil.
a pleasure, Laura. We love being here.
Thanks so much, Phil.
Phil, how you doing?
Doing great.
We've never
Thank
met.
You. Nope.
This is the first time we've met.
You got it. I'm a physician.
Okay, where are you out of?
Right now, actually, I'm around throughout the United States dealing with the health issues of health care throughout the country.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So, we have an issue, don't we?
It's more than I ever thought. I've been spending a lot of time in the southeast quadrant, Mississippi, Tennessee, most recently Georgia. The health statistics in South Georgia are almost as bad as Africa. We have an incredible rate of obesity, hypertension, diabetes, cardiovascular disease, and we're doing very little to take care of these people. There's also a big gap between the public health community and the healthcare delivery community. They have to come together. There has to be a whole new model for delivering care. This is not Boston with a high-end institutions that are meeting the problem a little bit better. But I'm telling you, throughout the country, there's disconnect. The physicians have to be more engaged. There has to be collaboration. I use 3 words, Gino, in my language now, and I'm very strong on it. Innovation, acceleration, collaboration. And until we get to this point of all the different players coming together, making sure the patients have more awareness of their own health status and doing something about it, making sure there's not overutilization, underutilization, or misutilization, we really are on the verge of either doing something very positive and productive or maintaining the status quo, which is not answering the issue.
How did we get to this place in the first?
Well, I think it's evolutionary. I think it's self-possession. I think, unfortunately, there's a lot of meism, not usism.
And when you say that, what do you mean by that?
Well, the doctors think they own the care to the patient, whereas the patient should own more of their own care. There should be more people involved in a team approach, so it's not just you going to the doctor. You should go to a team of people. It could be a nutritionist, it could be a mental health specialist, it could be a pharmacist, and they have to work collectively. We have to deal with the continuum of care from the time you're born to the time you die. At the end of life, we have to deal with the end of life issue. So you die with dignity, but you don't go on forever and ever,
Okay.
and your family comes to support. We shouldn't be dying in nursing homes. We should be dying at home with our loved ones. We should have some support at the end of life for tax reasons, that people should be supportive of this. If your children support you at home, they should be given a tax break. So otherwise, people can't afford their care.
Let's stay on the first point that you made about obesity. I have my own opinion, and you tell me if I'm wrong, but the way our culture is set up and the way economics are set up and corporations are set up, it's market driven. So when you build a highway and that highway has an exit, and every time you get off that exit, the only thing you see is fast food and food that just really does make you fat and will give you giant portions. How responsible is it to allow corporations and our society to continue to feed this engine that's perpetuating obesity? Am I wrong?
2 things. One, I totally agree with your position. So that's not for
I'm
debate.
using it as a very extreme example.
Let me go back to another thing that I want to start the answer to. The definition of health, which no one hears about in this country. It dates back to 1948 in the World Health Organization. Health is a state of social, physical, and emotional well-being, not solely the absence of disease or infirmity. Okay? We don't hear that conversation at all. We hear about illness care, health care, and the like. Second of all, a lot of the food is culturally and economically based, okay? So people are poorer and don't have the education about nutrition and obesity, have a hard time of understanding the impact. Even in major cities and locations where food is grown, such as Fresno, California, and elsewhere, they're stuck with exactly what you talked about. They're stuck about having fast food places. They're stuck with lack of quantity. On the other hand, there's a good story out there. There's a company created in California called Revolution Foods. Revolution Foods now serves over 1 million nutritionally positive foods for inner city kids around the country at a fair price. That's a good story. That has to be put forth.
Right.
Also, the First Lady of our country, Michelle, is putting out energy. There's more energy into nutrition. The question is, can you price nutrition so you have quality at a cost that's reasonable?
Right.
Unfortunately, even on this island, if you go after organic, good food, you're paying more than if you go to another store that serves the other food. So there is, unfortunately, in our society, a growing gap between those who have and those who don't have. And nutrition is a part of those who don't have more poor nutrition than those who have. So we have to, there's a socio-political dynamic, not just a corporate personal dynamic.
I understand that, and that was going to be my next point. How important would it be for us to become, or is it important for us to become more socialized about it, so that we do, so that people who are in a state of ill health have the means to get well, or have more momentum behind it, because society says we're there on your side, rather than people feeling alone and alienated.
Well, your question is pretty profound. You're getting into the politics of our society now. Having served in a variety of positions, and even having been honored with a semi-finalist position for the U.S. Surgeon General, I have to be a little bit more cautious in using words. I think we have to have a society that's more responsive, more giving, more collaborative, and I would not just start out using the word socialize, because in the process, this is not an East Coast, West Coast society. It's called the United States.
Sure.
And we have to bring all the people together, and sometimes those who think they have the answers are East Coast, West Coast based. And I'm looking for energy that tells the story, okay? And I'm out across the country now telling the story about doing the right things to improve our health status. And with that, it's going to take some more energy, and it's going to be collaborative. So, you know, and I look forward to working for you. Today, unfortunately, with everything else going on, I only challenge you to continue the dialogue so we can move forward in a positive way. And I share with that with you.
How do you do what you do? How does that all come about?
Well, I'm working for a large publicly traded consulting firm, and with that I've been able to create an attraction by people throughout the country. So next week I'm in Louisville talking to the Foundation for Healthy Kentucky, exactly on what's it going to take to transform the current state to the future state. Then I go speaking to 30 hospital system CEOs in New Orleans about what's changing. Then I talk to a group of physicians about what the future looks like. So it's all this trying to create a pathway. We're designing a program, hopefully with the Center for Disease Control, the Department of Public Health for the state of Georgia, the Georgia Hospital, so to take on the issues in the South. Rather than just verbalize that there's an issue, how do you put forth real-time, near-time deliverables for change? And that's the challenge. It's not easy. I'm not the youngest person on the block, but I'm motivated to see something happen.
You live on Nantucket?
We live here part-time of the year. We love Nantucket. We think it's a beautiful place. And to be honest with you, we'd like to absorb some of the people who are here on a transient basis into the social dynamics of change.
Have you been here for a long time? On Nantucket?
I was here as a youth. I worked in the local establishment as a youth at the Opera House, at Harbor View, and at the White Elephant.
Wow.
Well, and it was exciting then.
You mean as a kid before med school or something?
You got it. You got it.
Awesome.
I was a waiter. And then we came back here 3 years ago. My wife is very involved in creating new, high-energy, innovative companies. So she helped create Tesla, Pandora, others.
Your wife did?
Yeah, she created them all. And she's well known in the field for impact investing, for social change, and return on appropriate investment. So we're both pretty engaged, and our two children are very engaged. One's a new person with GE in their commercial program, and the other, my son, is in your business. He's a TV sports anchor, starting his career in the Quad Cities.
Oh, wonderful.
So that's it.
So what do you think of Nantucket these days? Are you still...
It's gorgeous. It's beautiful. It's got some of its own dynamics on its island.
Yeah.
Its healthcare system isn't changed. They're looking to build a new hospital. That's great.
Yep.
I think it'd be great if they used it as a place of destination rather than a place where they send people to other hospitals.
Okay.
And I'm very much into the expression mental well-being.
Ah.
And I'm very concerned about abuse of drug and alcohol usage, both
You
for
are in-
residents
Yep.
to people who come in. So as far as living here, you know, it's a piece of paradise, and I feel honored and privileged to have the opportunity of being here. However, getting from the West Coast, where I live the rest of the time, getting onto the island with transportation is not always the easiest.
No, that's true.
Right.
But, you know, sometimes that journey makes it more special when you're here.
You got it, and I look forward to continue our relationship.
Thank you. It was very nice to meet you.
It's really a pleasure.